We're here today to speak in support of House Bill 3241, a bill that strengthens charter schools across the state. Charter schools are public schools, and we have a few folks who will make some remarks, and I'll offer some closing words. First, I'd like to thank House Majority Leader Kenny Bingham for being here with other members of the House from across the state who are here to show their support of our public charter schools. I'd like to recognize the chief sponsor of this bill, House Education and Public Works Committee Chairman Phil Owens, and thank him for his strong leadership in advancing this public charter school bill. Chairman Owens.
Thank you, Dr. Zais. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few days, members of the General Assembly will have an opportunity to further the intent and mission of public charter schools in South Carolina. An opportunity for more innovative and accountable public educational choices to improve student performance. In 1996, South Carolina passed legislation enabling the creation of public charter schools. 15 years later, today, we have 44 public charter schools serving about 16,500 students. While this number is small compared to the approximately 700,000 students in public school in South Carolina, this number is still a very important number. Public charter schools have been a part of America's public education system for 18 years, and the number is growing each year. States are embracing educational reform and helping charter schools grow and replicate. South Carolina has an opportunity with House Bill 3241 to become part of this progressive and rewarding education reform movement. Public charter schools do not replace traditional public schools, but instead they offer another educational opportunity within the total public school system. Currently, there are 420,000 students across this country waiting for admission into a charter school. 6 years after Hurricane Katrina, public charter schools continue to play a primary role in rebuilding the city's public education system. In fact, 61% of all public schools in New Orleans are charter schools. In Kansas City, that number is 32%. In Washington, D.C., that number is 38%. In Detroit, Michigan, that number is 36%. In South Carolina, that number is 2%. Public charter schools are not a threat. They are an option. Parental choice in public education works. Allowing parents to choose the schools their children attend empowers them vis-a-vis the school staff, making it possible for them to play a more decisive role in their children's education. And options create competition. And competition brings out the best in people. Requiring that schools compete should not be controversial. Competition is relied upon to provide food, clothing, shelter, transportation, medicine, many other goods and services. Competition among preschool and after-school services and higher education is allowed and actually encouraged. Yet constructive competition among primary and secondary schools is suppressed by assigning students to traditional public schools and then withholding the public funds if their parents choose other educational options within the public school system. Studies have shown, when protected from competition, even talented and well-intentioned public officials are motivated to act in ways intended to increase their income, authority, prestige, and leisure. The usual bureaucratic approach is to minimize choices. House Bill 3241 addresses the current inequities in funding our public charter schools in South Carolina. It allows all educational dollars, federal, state, and local, child. Currently, if a parent chooses for their child to attend a public school chartered outside their local school district, the child is shortchanged. It's okay to attend another public school outside the district, but the local dollars raised by the citizens in the district, including the parents of that child, do not follow the child. Current law allows the local school district to retain that child's local funding, even if they no longer educate that child. This legislation is intended to remove the current disproportionate public school funding and level the playing field for public charter school students. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about the school district. It's not about the school administration. It's not about the preservation of the status quo. It's about the first and foremost, what's best for the child. As a parent, we have one opportunity, and only one opportunity, to educate our children. I hope we recognize and provide our parents this opportunity to direct their child's educational path.
Thank you, Chairman Owens, and thank you for this leadership in this vitally important bill. Next, I'd like to recognize the parent of a charter school student, Miss Allison Thomas. Miss Thomas is a parent of a third grader from Riverview Charter School in Beaufort, South Carolina. I invite you, Miss Thomas, to tell us a little bit about your experience with charter schools.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here to speak today in support of House Bill 3241. It's very exciting legislation for students that are currently in charter schools. Again, as a mother of a third grader at Riverview Charter School in Beaufort, South Carolina, I have embraced the educational option that was presented to me there in the local community. And currently, counties collect money to educate public school students. That money should follow the child, just as it does when that child goes to a district-run school. That money should also follow the child to the public charter school. It's simply not equity in education to fund our children's education if we only fund it with a portion of the dollars that are available to us. So again, there are lots of exciting initiatives coming forward in Bill 3241, and we're very excited as parents and as community members to support that bill. And additionally, but very specifically, the funding component is really exciting for us. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas, for your remarks and for your support of our public charter schools. First, I'd like to thank the parents and students and legislators who are here today to support this bill. Your support is critical to the success of this effort. I rise in strong support of this bill and would like to make a few comments about some of the provisions in it. First and foremost, I believe that a public school is a public school. There are many different forms of public schools: traditional brick and mortar schools, public magnet schools, middle or early college schools, alternative schools with discipline problems for students with discipline problems, arts-infused magnet schools, and of course, charter schools are all public schools. If a student attends a public school, the revenue associated with that student should follow her or him to the school of their choice. This should include our statewide charter school district. And I'm very supportive of the language in the bill that will require all monies associated with a student to follow that student to a public charter school. Second, I believe that public charter school students should have equal access to extracurricular activities. The language in this bill provides that a public charter school student will have the opportunity to participate in athletics or music or drama extracurricular activities. This is a big step in addressing this fundamental issue of equal access. Third, I believe strongly that single-gender education programs are great classrooms for many students. And I support the language in the bill that allows single-gender schools to operate. Finally, I believe that adding an additional class of charter school authorizers or sponsors is warranted. Specifically, 12 other states allow institutions of higher education to sponsor or authorize charter schools. In Missouri, 30 of their 31 charter schools are sponsored by higher education institutions. Public universities such as the University of Oklahoma, Florida State University, Florida Atlantic University, the University of Missouri, and many technical colleges in Minnesota sponsor public charter schools. I believe that adding this provision, which will cost no additional dollars, is another significant reform that is contained in this bill. In closing, I cannot stress how important it is that this public charter school bill be sponsored by the General Assembly and approved as written, and sent to the governor this year for approval. During the past year, I visited 8 brick-and-mortar charter schools and 5 online virtual cyber charter schools. I've been enormously impressed with the quality of the instruction, the satisfaction of the parents and the students, and the morale of the teachers and principals in these charter schools. Public charter schools have the ultimate accountability measure: school closure. Charter schools are performance-based schools. If a public charter school fails to meet standards or live up to the terms of its charter, it will close. Since 1997, 20 schools have closed in our state. I believe public charter schools can transform education in South Carolina because they are focused entirely on student achievement and the needs of meeting individual students. With this legislation, South Carolina is primed to become one of the leading public charter school states in our nation. I believe it's in the best interest of our public education system that charter schools thrive, survive, and grow. Our students deserve the best education we can afford, and charter schools are a wise investment with a large return on taxpayer dollars. Thank you for attending today's conference and for your support of our charter schools.